I wanted to talk about truth and social media and the whole events that's going in there because I've been doing these videos for many years now, and under the name of Scraping the Bottom, one word with a capital S. And I find that in YouTube now, you can't get Scraping the Bottom anymore because so many people, I think, like the title Scraping the Bottom so much that they've kind of like muscled me out and taken it over and so forth. I no doubt somebody paid money to muscle me out, and I'm like small potatoes without a doubt. And you got to keep in mind that the very basic underlying reason for the internet and social media is so that certain individuals can make very large amounts of money. So all right, so maybe nobody will see this video. I mean, I could put it on the other social media site, Facebook, I suppose. And nobody really watches these long things on Facebook, but I make them. And the truth is that I don't know what the truth is anymore. I mean, as that Noah guy, that Noah fellow that comes up with the concept that we share stories. And that is what we used to be as a culture, as a society, as a nation. But we have splintered apart because largely of social media. We are, I think, less of a nation than we used to be because we found all the divisions because there's little pockets of people that existed, let's say at Spokane, Washington, or Walla Walla, Washington, or Poughkeepsie, or Mentor and Tallahassee and different places in the country, and there would be somebody that would believe like Ku Klux Klan beliefs, or they might believe that the moon landing was faked, and they believe in all kinds of things, but they were separated by space, and now we're looking at a whole new system in which these people can find each other online and then organize themselves into these groups of what I believe and what I don't believe. And of course, they it seems like there's like a chain reaction that occurs when that all happens. They get 25 people from hundreds of miles apart and thousands of miles apart to, let's say, to go say that the U.S. government is evil, which seems to be a popular theme these days. And then, they all go to the same website, and then it sort of like develops into a momentum. And when then we got guys like Donald Trump, who I don't know what purpose he wants to divide the country as much as possible. He's rude to anybody who doesn't agree with him, and he preaches things like all the elections are fixed, and that then he follows these the white replacement theory, and it's what is the truth? They want to tell you that there's a Jewish cabal that runs the world that's trying to eliminate the white race from existence. And then there's this plot to bring all these immigrants into the country. There's like, they believe in all sorts of really crazy things, including, that there's the earth is flat even, I've already talked about that kind of stuff. But how do you know? How do you know what's true if you just do it from in your own house, peering into the internet or onto television? Or used to be, we watch one of the three networks and we'd believe what we were seeing. And now, let me just bring up an example. I was on the internet, and I know that a person that I was friends with a while back posted this conspiracy theory that recently there was a natural gas pipeline under the Baltic Sea that blew up, It was a Russian pipeline pumping natural gas into Europe, and it blew up. And it was like two pipelines, I think, that blew up. And he posted on his website or on his on the social media that it was the United States of America that blew up this pipeline. And I said, well, that's not, that sounds like, a conspiracy theory that has absolutely no foundation in reality, because there's nothing to prove that. And the truth, and he got really mad at me, trying to, because I sort of accused him of being a racist, but I didn't mean to say that. What I meant to say was that this is just like the white replacement theory. I mean, you're following something that you have absolutely no evidence, that you only saw on the internet, and now you believe it, and then all of a sudden there were other people jumping in defending him. Now he is I think a left winger. He believes in anarchy, which is, all right, that's pretty crazy in and of itself, But there's a bunch of right wingers, because all of a sudden Tucker Carlson has taken up that whole belief that it was the United States that blew up the pipeline. Now, when the pipeline first blew up, the Russians said it was an accident. And, I'm suspicious of that. I mean, because they just happen to be fighting a war with Ukraine, and the Europeans are siding with Ukraine. So now the Russians are going to try to punish Europe by denying them energy. It's using energy as a weapon. So they get, well, we can't get you the natural gas. Now the pipeline blew up, It was an accident. But, I don't know the truth. I have no idea what the truth is. I'm sitting over here in the middle of podunk nowhere, and I'm supposed to figure it out by watching things on. I have a mind. I can figure out who stood to gain by having something like that happen. But the killer part of it is that the right wing, which is Tucker Carlson, and these guys who are claimed to be anarchists, which I imagine are more left wing, they all agree that it was the United States of America. What would the United States of America? I know that they objected to that pipeline when it was set up, so that was their proof. But why would Russia say it was an accident if they get hip to the fact that they could have claimed it was the United States, and it would have been a great thing to say? But they didn't even come up with that much of a fantastic conspiracy about it. And then right now they're probably saying, oh yeah, let's say it's America. This is what I'd say. If something is reported on the news, if it's what they call the mainstream media, or Sarah Palin calls the lamestream media, then all of a sudden there's an opposition media that says the opposite. We would talk about, the elections. The election for Donald Trump versus Biden was stolen by Joe Biden somehow. Now, I doubt it. I know people who work the polls. I know people who, I vote on nearly every single election, even the little dinky ones that, just dog catcher and so forth. But these people say that these little old ladies at the election campaign place, or the election polling place, are somehow sneaky, crooked conspirators with the Joe Biden. And when it came time to bring it to court and say, look at the evidence, they had no evidence. But there's still a large amount of people who believe that that's what happened. And how do you know? You saw it on the TV. There's alternate media, and there's alternate internet. And it's like, what is true? You gotta kind of use your head a little bit in this whole thing, I think. But there's a lot of, let's face it, and I might sound like an elitist here, but there's a lot of really stupid people out there, really dumb people. I was talking to a lady the other day, and she was, I work in a store, and I'm working, and she starts talking to me about how there was this woman that I work with, and she stood up to this one customer who was very rude to her, and it was a Mexican of some sort, she said. And then I said, well, people are just so rude these days, I said, which is true. I think Donald Trump, again, brought rudeness into America and exasperated it. But she said, yeah, there's like they were rioting in the streets with the Black Lives Matter things and the Antifa things, and I said, yeah, and they attacked the Capitol building, and she goes, no, that was the FBI that attacked the Capitol building. So I guess that's the latest thing. Somewhere in the right-wing internet media world, they've decided that the FBI is the enemy of the people, and they attacked. It was a false flag or something that they attacked the Capitol building. I mean, what are we gonna do? We're falling apart as a nation if we can't have some sort of consensus about what is reality. And if anybody like myself, or, well, I can't get on the internet hardly anymore, but anybody who wants to, who has a few bucks, can put together a website and proclaim that whatever you want to, the truth, and owning the truth with your own version of the truth is the key to developing the culture and the political success in the future. So, I mean, I could go on about the Christians as well. They say there's one way, the truth. They have their truth, and everybody else has to follow their truth, and they don't accept any kind of alternate reality or even consideration of somebody else's truth. And people, that's no respect for other people, in other words. Even though they might preach respect, they have no respect for other people. And I don't know. I don't know what to do about this. That's the thing. I'm at a loss for where you really can find the truth, and I think I have a good idea what the truth is. Now let me put my point in. I've said this before on one of my videos. If you don't see it firsthand, physical 3D in present moment that you experienced, then you're going to get it through a filter of some sort. And every filter you get it through, and the more filters you get it through, it's like playing telephone when when you were a kid, where you would tell one person and he'd tell another person, and by the time it came back around again, it was a completely changed story. That kind of thing. That's what you gotta kind of consider anytime you hear anything on the internet or whatever television station you're listening to. They have videotapes, live film and everything else of things that go on, and you can watch that. And now they have deep fakes where they can just make anything look real, So you got to question everything that you see that you don't see firsthand. And you got to use your head and say, now, how does that follow my previous experience? How does that follow who's got motivation to say this? Or who's got motivation to say that? Who does it benefit whenever somebody makes a claim like blowing up the pipeline or something like that? Who gains from that? That's what you got to ask yourself first of all. And then you got to ask yourself, how much of this reality is firsthand? How far removed, and what filters does it go through? You got to ask yourself these questions. And I'm a little bit fearful for the nation in the future. I think in the short run it's in danger. In the long run, I think all this interacting and ability to communicate on such a high level and so many cross-section of communication, I think in the long run it's going to be a good thing. But in the short run, there's going to be some major disruptions. And, well, I hope everybody is peaceful.